We're talking about Resident Evil. We recently had an interview with the director of the upcoming Resident Evil game. I don't know, is it going to be called Resident Evil 9? Maybe.
I mean, it's probably going to be called Resident Evil something.
It'll be something.
Might as well put a number on it.
Last time we got Village, which was like the 8 was hidden in there in Roman numerals.
Maybe we should call it the successor to Resident Evil 8 Village.
Yeah, that
until
way.
we get an official. Yeah.
So this game is rumored to be coming out within the next year or so, probably 2025 game.
Yeah.
And this is going to be potentially open world. That's what all the rumors are saying, that this is going to be more open world than Village. Village was already
Open-ish.
open-ish.
Yeah, the rumor, because they're using that new RE engine that they expanded on for Dragon's Dogma. And the rumor is that this game is going to use it and Monster Hunter Wilds will use it.
Yeah. Which Monster Hunter Wilds, from what we've seen, looks really good.
It does look really good. It looks so good that I borrowed Monster Hunter Rise from Randy and I'm going to check it out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. By the way, guys, I am a huge Resident Evil fan. I love the games. I love the old games. I love the new games. And I'm very interested in Resident Evil 9 because, this is obviously being directed by the same person who directed Resident Evil 7.
Right.
Which Resident Evil 7 made a big splash for being one, kind of going back into being more of a horror game and less of an action game. And also, Resident Evil 7 was very notable for being the first Resident Evil game to be played in first person.
Right.
Which really ups the horror factor.
It definitely does. It's definitely more immersive, to be in first person. And what little I played of Resident Evil 7 was freaking scary.
It is a scary game.
Yeah.
Now, Village is also in first person, but it is not as scary for most of the game, except when the game decides to be the scariest Resident Evil game ever in one section. So I'm really interested in, will Resident Evil 9 be a first-person game, or will it go back to being a third-person game? And I have my thoughts on which one I think they're going to do.
Right.
But I wanted to find out what you guys thought. So we put out a poll about this, and Daniel hit us with the poll that says, how do you prefer your Resident Evil games?
Well, at 17%, people said, give me that first-person goodness. I want to crap my britches. At 54%, people said third person, my britches are pre-crapped, no need to crap again. And at 29%, people said, I don't play that crap.
A lot of crap in this one. Look, interestingly, Resident Evil Village came out, it was a first-person game. Later on, the game got a DLC. And along with that DLC came the option to play the game in third person, should you choose. So it's obvious that Capcom knows that not everyone is a huge fan of the first person at Resident Evil.
Yes. I mean, they made a ton of Resident Evil games that weren't first person. So, that makes perfect sense that people, are at least nostalgic for the old style.
Yes.
And would Leon really feel the same if we were looking through his eyes?
That's true. And really, strangely, the protagonist of 7 and 8, you don't see his face because it's like it wants you to be the character, right?
Because it's my face.
Basically, yeah. I mean, in a way. But then we also got, with that Resident Evil Village DLC, we got its own game called Shadows of Rose. And that was a game that was played in third person. So it makes me think, I kind of thought that Resident Evil 9, before the DLC came out, I kind of thought the next Resident Evil game would star Rose as the main character. I didn't realize we were just going to get a DLC that did that instead of a full game. So, okay. So I have no clue what Resident Evil 9 is going to be like, but I tend to think that they are going to go third person with it.
I kind of hope they do, because those are the only RE games I've ever completed were a couple of the third person ones, and I really like them.
Oh, they're great. They're fantastic.
I would prefer that just because I would like what I already know I like.
Yeah. And, one of the reasons I like the first person is that I really like that all the recent Resident Evil games we've gotten have come with VR modes, which obviously makes a ton of sense for Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil Village.
Sure.
Both those being first person games work great in VR. And
Definitely.
fantastic games. And but now we find out that like they just like the idea of you being able to go in. So we've gotten Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 4 remake, and Resident Evil 4 the old version have both got VR modes. So it seems
And
to
you
me,
played 'em.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So no, I haven't played Resident Evil the remake in VR. I played the original.
Oh, you
in
played the
VR.
original in VR, so you couldn't move while you shot.
No, they changed that. You could move while
Oh,
you shoot.
well, good.
I think I may be wrong about that. I don't remember. It's been a while.
I think you may be right. I think I remember you saying that they changed that.
I think they changed it. Yeah. For that VR mode, which was like came exclusively to the Meta Quest headsets.
Right.
But anyways, so I think that they know that generally people like the third person. So I think if we only get one option, I think it will be third person. But I could see him doing like we saw with Village, where you have the option to swap back and forth. Like if you want to play it in first, you can. If you want to play it in third, you can. I could totally see that being a thing too.
Well, that kind of leads us into our first comment here.
Yeah.
We got us a comment from Morris Dennison, the man with the name that you just love to say, who said, "So here's something I think would be cool. Make third person and first person a selectable option, then make a fixed camera mode an unlockable option." There were a lot of comments on this poll about fixed camera modes.
Yeah, because the original Resident Evil games were fixed camera. I personally don't like the fixed camera very much.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of that. It's more. I think someone commented on saying that like it's hard. The depth perception is
Yes.
tough on the fixed camera. Totally agree. It makes everything a little wonky. Although it does have a cool retro vibe. I just don't. Playing a whole game that way is a little tough for me.
Yeah. Well,
I much prefer to have third person if I'm gonna, have a camera outside the head.
yeah. Oh, for sure. Sure. And, our next commenter, Soul Intent, they may agree with you. So maybe you read that comment.
Yeah, Soul Intent 95 says third person. The original fixed camera layout. I can't play games like that. I have a hard time with depth perception in games like that. The remakes were a blessing. Okay, so this is where that comment was. Turns out you had pulled that comment.
Yeah. Randy, I'm telling you what, he comes in here and he just tries to steal thunder. Like, I go through this outline with a fine-tooth comb. I paste this like an episode of Dragon Ball Kai, okay? Not Dragon Ball Z.
No, that'd be
because
horribly paced.
I want to get on with the damn story.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want the rising action. I want the climax. Got to have the climax. And I want the falling action.
I could probably like take a minute and read the comments that you've pulled to make sure I like know what's there. That
Yeah.
would probably be wise of me, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I know I've read all the comments, but I just don't know which ones you've pulled.
Right.
But now I know. Yeah, totally agree. The depth perception is weird on games like those fixed camera games.
And I think that would feel so dated if they were to put that out nowadays. Like, I feel like that would make it feel really dated.
But that would be a cool unlockable thing. But if we work on the assumption that it's going to be an open world game, fixed camera probably isn't going to happen.
Well, you just put like a God cam, over the whole world. And then you just play the game like you're a bunch of ants down there.
You'd have to have so many pre-programmed in fixed camera options. Like you'd be like walking and then all of a sudden it just shift to a slightly different camera angle and it would just be all over the place.
No, because it'd be a flat Earth.
Oh, okay.
So you'd have like a God cam and you'd just be able to see everything. Like that.
You're like a little ant walking around.
Right. Like Link's Awakening DX HD. Did you remember that PC port?
The PC port, yeah. You can zoom out and see the whole map.
Yeah. That's how it's going to be. That's how RE9 is going to be.
Ooh, that would be, ooh.
It sounds scary and immersive.
Just a completely top down.
Makes it feel like an RTS.
You can't see what's going on. Would love it. All right, we have one more comment on this. Hit us with this one from Neems.
Nemesis VR.
Nemesis. That's not how you spell Nemesis.
No, but...
Oh, there's a 1 in there instead of an I. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So from Neems 1S VR, Neems said, always preferred first person because of the horror. Oh, the horror.
I mean, Resident Evil 7 especially is just like scary throughout.
It's scary at the beginning. I'll tell you that. That was back when...
I think you need to go back and conquer that game.
I will one day. I will. That may be a fall game, I still had a roommate when that game, or I guess
it came out in 2017. So
yeah, I think Frankie was living here at the time. Anyway, he had the game, but he wouldn't play the game. He would only watch me play the game. because he's a big scaredy cat.
Yeah.
And so we only got like we didn't even get out of the house.
Didn't even get out of the first location.
But we did play it for a number of hours, and it was a blast, and it was scary.
Yeah. I love that game so much. I've been thinking about going back and playing it. I tried to play it in VR, and I played about half the game in VR.
Yeah.
And then I eventually was like, I was going so slow. It's not that I wasn't enjoying myself,
You just ain't man enough for that.
but I was working my way through it so slow because when you're playing in VR, everything just feels so much more, real, and you just really want to take your time. And I thought, if I'm going to make it through this game, I got to stop playing it in VR because I'm working at a snail's pace.
Yeah.
So then I finished the game normally.
And Randy doesn't play games like that. Randy barrels through games like a freaking bull in a china shop. Like,
I really do.
trying to play Chain Together with this man,
You don't want to work at my pace.
because your pace doesn't work in a game like that.
Yeah, it does. If I was playing solo, I'd be ripping through that game.
Oh, yeah. Well, that game would be easy solo.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but that's not the point of the game. I understand that.
Yeah.